Meantime, families across the country report they are suffering under the weight of this year's back-to-school prices. In one recent survey, 44% said they'd have to take on debt to buy what they need for their kids this fall.
As students prepare to go back to school, parents and teachers are getting sticker shock every time they shop. Whether it's pencils, notebooks, backpacks, or new clothes, everything is more expensive right now compared to just a year ago. So let's see how the White House is spinning their terrible record. Let's see, prices for everyday goods continue to decline just in time for back-to-school shopping. Yes, everyday goods like ship fares, that classic back-to-school essential. Unbelievable. I'm Curtis Bradley Brown, director of DNC Studios and your host for today. It's Friday, August 15th, and this is the Democrats' Daily Blueprint. Everywhere you look, Trump's economic numbers are getting worse. The latest jobs report showed that the economy added just 73,000 jobs in July, and that's way below expectations. That same jobs report revised down the numbers for May and June by more than 250,000. Altogether, it means that the last 3 months have been the weakest for hiring since the pandemic. Yikes. And it only got worse from there. On Tuesday of this week, a key report on the Consumer Price Index showed that the inflation rate for core goods and services rose above 3%, the fastest pace in 5 months. And these numbers confirm what we are all feeling. Prices are going up under Trump, and it's not just happening on its own. It's happening because of Trump's reckless trade war and reckless economic agenda. And as you saw in the opening clip, it's a huge stress factor for parents budgeting for the upcoming school year. Because it's not just grocery staples like ground beef, pork, lettuce, tomatoes, milk, coffee, and oranges that are all getting more expensive. It's back-to-school essentials too. Costs for items such as index cards, notebooks, binders and folders, glue sticks, and lunch boxes, they've all increased in price as much as 42%. In fact, a recent survey found that more than half of parents plan to go without necessities like groceries just to ensure their kids have what they need for school. But let's remember, this is all part of Trump's plan.
Well, maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. But we're not talking about something that we have to go out of our way. They have ships that are loaded up with stuff, much of which, not all of it, but much of which we don't need.
He wants Americans to pay more for less, and he's getting his wish. Yesterday, new data showed that wholesale inflation increased in July by the most in 3 years. Wholesale inflation measures how fast costs are rising at the producer end of the supply chain. And once it goes up for producers, it makes its way through the chain and eventually to you and to me, the consumers. Inflation is already bad under Trump, but it's only going to get worse as these upstream price hikes trickle down to consumers. Thanks to him, back-to-school shopping is more expensive for parents and teachers all over America. And even higher inflation means it's only going to get worse. And also, this school year is the first with Linda McMahon in charge of the Department of Education. I think we have a clip of her confirmation hearing. By the way, the wrestler who knocked her out, he's now the mayor of Knox County in Tennessee. The more you know. But back to Linda McMahon. Ever since she was sworn in, she has been pile driving. I just learned that's a wrestling move. Pile driving public education into the ground. She tried to fire half the staff of the department, which she called a first step on the road to a total shutdown. She's fired 2/3 of the staff who administered student loan debt relief for tens of thousands of borrowers. And she's gutted essential programs that support more than 50 million K-12 students. Between out-of-control costs and looming cuts to the Department of Education, there's real concern that Linda McMahon will be the last Secretary of Education, and that her legacy will be, well, this. If this isn't the back-to-school special that you signed up for, if this isn't the America that you signed up for, then we need you to get involved. Tomorrow, Democrats are supporting nationwide protest against the Trump takeover of our government and the reckless actions he's taking to hurt Americans. Go to fightthetrumptakeover.com to sign up for an event near you. And be on the lookout for more opportunities to get involved and fight back as we call out Republicans trying to make America unaffordable again. Thanks for joining us today for this episode of the Daily Blueprint. We're here every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern on the DNC's YouTube page. Until Monday.